The showroom was silent, until laughter cut through the air. James Whitman, a hardworking father, stood tall in front of the sleek red car. His daughter, Sophie, barely 8, clutched his hand, eyes wide with excitement. But the salesman and a group of rich customers snickered. "Do you even know what you're doing?" One laughed. "That's more money than most people make in a year." Another added. Sophie's cheeks burned. James's jaw tightened. He reached into his coat pocket. No financing, no checks, just a thick envelope, stuffed with cash. When he pulled it out, the entire showroom went quiet. What happened next shocked everyone, and left Sophie crying tears of joy. Stay with me, because this is more than a car story. It's about pride, love, and the moment the world underestimated a father's devotion. James Whitman wasn't wealthy. He worked 2 jobs, day shifts at a construction site, nights at a small hardware store, just to make ends meet. Sophie, his only child, had dreamed of owning her first car ever since she started riding the school bus alone. The showroom gleamed with polished floors and luxury vehicles, but it felt like another world to them. Salesmen like Carl, Benson, and customers like Edward Price whispered behind their hands, sizing James up, judging him for his worn coat and calloused hands. Sophie's eyes sparkled with hope, but her father's heart ached from the shame of being underestimated. He had never let money, or lack of it, define his love for Sophie, and today he was going to show that love in a way nobody in the showroom expected. Quiet determination radiated from James, a hidden strength forged from years of struggle and sacrifice. The showroom air grew thick with tension as James walked toward the car. Carl Benson, the lead salesman, smirked, clipboard in hand. "Sir, that car isn't for people like you," he said loud enough for others to hear. The group of wealthy customers chuckled. Sophie's small hand squeezed her father's. James didn't flinch. He simply nodded, keeping his eyes on the car. He had saved every penny for months, cutting corners, skipping luxuries, refusing to let anyone see his struggle. This car wasn't just a gift. It was proof that love and determination could outshine judgment. A young salesman whispered, "He doesn't even look like he can afford it." James opened his coat, revealing the thick envelope of cash. The room froze. Eyes widened. Mouths hung open. Carl leaned in, disbelief written across his face. You're paying cash?" "Yes," James said, calm and steady. "All of it." Sophie gasped. The laughter stopped. The customers' smirks disappeared, replaced by shocked silence. James handed the envelope to Carl. "No financing, no loans. Just cash, because that's how much she means to me." Whispers spread through the showroom. Some reached for their phones to capture the moment. Even Edward Price, the harshest critic, couldn't hide his astonishment. Sophie's eyes filled with tears. Overwhelmed by the realization, her father's love had just silenced the world. But Carl Benson wasn't done yet. He leaned closer, voice trembling, testing James one last time. "Sir, are you sure this is wise?" James met his gaze, unwavering. "Yes, and watch what happens next." The showroom fell into a hush so deep it was almost unbearable. Carl Benson's hands shook as he counted the cash, disbelief etched across his face. This can't be real," he stammered. James Whitman didn't flinch. He didn't need to. He had worked for this moment for months. Every overtime shift, every skipped meal, every late night planning this Christmas surprise for Sophie. Sophie clutched her father's arm, tears running down her cheeks. She had never felt so proud, so seen. One of the wealthy customers, Edward Price, finally spoke. "Is he really paying in full, cash?" James nodded, a quiet smile forming. "Yes, because she deserves it. Not the approval of this room, but because it's Christmas, and she's my daughter." Gasps echoed across the showroom. Phones came out. Recordings started. Even Carl's smug arrogance evaporated under the weight of the moment. A colleague whispered to another, "I've never seen anyone do that before. Full price, all at once." The car salesman stepped back, realizing the power of what had just happened. He glanced at James, then at Sophie, and finally at the stunned crowd. This changes everything," he admitted, voice trembling. Sophie's little hands covered her mouth. I can't believe it, she whispered. James knelt to her level, smiling softly. No need to believe it, Sophie. Just enjoy it. The crowd erupted, not with mockery this time, but with applause. People who had laughed moments ago now cheered, some even wiping away tears. Carl Benson, pale and silent, handed over the keys. Congratulations, he finally said almost reluctantly. James lifted Sophie into the car, and for the first time, she felt the true weight of her father's love. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about pride. It was about proving that when someone fights for you with all their heart, even the world's doubt can be silenced. And as Sophie turned the ignition, her father whispered, "Merry Christmas, Sophie. This one's all yours." The showroom went quiet again, but this time, it was respect that filled the air, not ridicule. The sound of the engine starting filled Sophie with a joy she had never known. She beamed at her father, tears still glistening in her eyes. "Thank you, Daddy." "Thank you." James smiled, ruffling her hair gently. "You earned it, kiddo. Every bit of it." The showroom, once full of sneers and laughter, now held an air of quiet awe. Even Edward Price, the most mocking of the onlookers, nodded respectfully. "He did it. All cash," he murmured, shaking his head in disbelief. Carl Benson, the salesman who had mocked James, finally stepped forward. I underestimated you, sir," he admitted. James simply nodded, not angry, just satisfied that the truth had been seen. Customers and onlookers began congratulating Sophie, her eyes wide with wonder. James felt a warmth he hadn't felt in years, the power of showing love without compromise, of proving dignity and strength can't be measured by wealth or appearance. Outside, the winter air felt lighter, almost celebratory. Sophie slid into the driver's seat, with James supervising, her laughter ringing through the lot. The world had doubted them. But tonight, love, courage, and devotion had won. James looked at Sophie and whispered, "Remember this moment. Always. People may doubt you, laugh at you, or underestimate you. But love and hard work will always speak louder than their words." Sophie smiled, clutching the steering wheel. "Yes, Daddy, I'll never forget." And as the father and daughter drove off into the snowy night, the crowd watched silently, inspired. Because sometimes, it's not the car that changes lives. It's the heart behind the gesture. Final line. And that Christmas, Sophie didn't just get a car, she inherited a lifetime lesson in love, courage, and dignity.